everyone, and welcome to Virtual Crunchyroll Expo 2020. My name is Destiny, and I'm the moderator for Black Girl Magic Anime Edition. Today, I'm very excited to be discussing our love for anime, our experiences in the anime fandom, and how to combat gatekeeping, and how to make sure no one dulls your magic. So I'm going to have each of my guests introduce themselves, starting off with Siobhan.
Hello everyone, my name is Siobhan Sullivan. I'm the Senior Manager for Global Social Media at Crunchyroll, and I hope you're having a great VCRX!
Woo! All right, and then Jackie.
Hello, my name is Jackie A. I'm the head magical girl at Adorn by Chi. We're a lifestyle brand and comic series for magical girls.
Yay! Victoria, you can go ahead.
Hey, I'm Victoria. I'm a pop culture journalist and host of the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast, where I interview Sailor Moon fans about their life and career in Sailor Moon.
Awesome. Kira?
Hi everyone, I'm Kira. I'm a content creator / cosplayer / musician, and I'm really excited to be here.
All right, and Imani?
Hi everyone, my name is Imani. I am player 3 of Land Party, and Land Party is a podcast that focuses on all parts of nerd culture. So we talk about video games, manga, anime, and comics.
Perfect. I am so excited to do this panel with you guys. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Destiny. I am a social media coordinator at Crunchyroll, but when I'm not doing that, I am the host of Getting Animated, which is a weekly anime podcast. So I wanted to go off and start this off by asking you guys some awesome questions. So first, I want to know how you guys all found your community in the anime fandom. I know a lot of us jumping into anime must have felt like it was almost impossible to meet people and find people who like the same stuff as we do. I remember finding new types and all that stuff in Blockbuster with my mom, and I didn't know where to find my community. So I'm really excited to hear where you guys found yours. I'll start off with you, Kira. Just tell us how you found your community.
Yeah, so mine was completely by accident. I actually got into cosplay by accident. I was really into Adventure Time, and then I discovered Steven Universe. And so I was really just into Steven Universe, and a lot of people in my life would tell me I either remind them of Garnet. I think it was just I had a huge afro, and then one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna dress up as Garnet. I want to do this. And then that's when I discovered the world of cosplay. I didn't really necessarily knew it existed back then. And so that's when people started reaching out to me, and I started finding other people that were into it as well. And that's when I was like, oh my God, I can actually express my nerdy interests. This is so awesome. And it was it was finding a new universe that I never knew existed. So that's kind of how I stumbled upon it.
Oh my God, that's really exciting because I love your cosplays and they're amazing. So that's really great to hear how you started off. Jackie, I'd love to hear your story.
Sure. So I found my community through my customers. I started making nerdy shirts, and then people found them, and we kind of built a community from there, especially in the Facebook group that we had, and now on Instagram. Yeah, that's mostly how I found my people, and very grateful for that, because I was going along thinking dang, do other Black girls not like anime? Come on.
Yeah,
but
no.
we do.
Of course. And I love your clothes. You already know, half my closet is adorned by Chi anyway.
Oh yeah.
Victoria, I'd love to hear. Victoria.
Half my closet is also adorned by Chi.
Hey.
But
My whole closet is adorned by Chi. So.
Oh my gosh. I will send you guys more.
Yes,
email me after this. Okay.
Actually, I think I got kind of lucky. I came across some people who were into anime in high school that I was able to connect with, and then again in college. But I think where I really hit a stride was on the internet, like Jackie just mentioned. Facebook groups like Black Girls Anime, Soft Black Girls, which I was a part of, Jackie's group, and just finding people, connecting with them in college and through the internet and Facebook groups and meetups and cons and pop-ups. So yeah, that's my story.
That's awesome. And Imani, go ahead and tell us how you got your fandom.
I feel like I have a very similar story to Victoria. I was one of the lucky people who, well, I went to a performing arts high school, so we're kind of different from everyone else. And we had an anime club. So I was really good friends with, I had a really good friend back then. And one day after school, we went to anime club and it just tumbled from there. It just tumbled from there. So basically in the anime club, we discuss, and we watch anime, we read manga, and we just hung out and had good times.
I want to say, like, I envy everyone who got the opportunity to be in a manga club. My school didn't have that, and I wish it did because I would be very excited to be a part of it, especially now.
It was real fun. But it was just a whole bunch of like young kids gathering together, like, yeah, discussing manga and watching anime. It's actually like, this is actually pretty dope after school.
It sounds like a dream, honestly. Siobhan, do you want to tell me how you got into it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my story is kind of an interesting one because I experienced fandom, I think, really early. I got addicted to Sailor Moon at about a hard 9 years old, and I was determined to find other people who were other Moonies. And so I basically went up to my dad and I was like, how do I find other people to like Sailor Moon? And, at that time, yes, I am showing my age, the internet had just started to come out. And so he kind of actually helped me learn how to build websites. And so I started to make a Sailor Moon shrine. I made one to Sailor Venus, Sailor Neptune. I put them out there and I was like, okay, maybe I'll get friends now. Like maybe they'll comment on my guest book and I can make a Sailor Moon friend. I did get some comments on there, but then I ended up, submitting my website to Annie Pike, which at the time was an anime, basically Google. And so I added on there. I ended up getting really inspired by other web developers in terms of like the anime shrine space. And I just ended up reaching out to them. So I ended up with a crew of friends across the US and we made our own like message board called Nadeshko Crew. Actually, we were all about the same age. It's a very weird time. We were about 13 at the time when we all formed our group. We all met up at Otakon one year. And so it was the first time actually that to come face to face and meet some of these folks. I'm not sure, how safe, maybe in
That's amazing.
But, we were all 13, at least, everyone showed up. They were all 13. So I had my friend group from that and, we, went back to our homes, but we stayed connected on the internet. We were on Messenger every day, on the message boards every day. And I'm still friends with them now. And then now I think my community has changed a little bit, obviously joining Crunchyroll. I've been able to meet so many other fans just at work. And so now I feel really lucky. I have my childhood anime community and also my adulthood anime community.
That's incredible. Oh my God. That's like, you're right. Probably not the safest thing, but that's amazing. Regardless, that is really, really dope. Like I always say, when I was starting into anime and trying to find my community, I didn't really have anybody because I was living in a small town. And I just wanted to talk about anime with people, and I could not find anybody to talk about it with. So what else do you do? Kind of like you, Siobhan, I went on the internet and I decided I was going to create a podcast. So I just ended up throwing myself in a closet, recording, and just being like, I'm going to post this and put this out in the world, and hopefully I get friends. And now I was able to meet all of you guys from it, which is just such an amazing experience, just cultivating all these friendships and stuff online. And it's just really great. So I'm really excited that I got to hear everybody's story into finding their community. But we all know, especially being Black women in the nerdy space, it's not always flowers and cherries and all the great, wonderful things. There are some obstacles that we do face. So I'd love to hear about that and kind of talk about it and give some advice to some, to younger Black women and also women in our age group who are just looking for advice on how to navigate through it. So what would you say is probably your biggest obstacle that you have faced? And I'll start with you, Victoria.
Yeah, I think honestly, the biggest obstacle for me is self-doubt. Like just, I think from the environment, from so many people kind of like gatekeeping. I'm like, am I really like a nerd? Like, am I really about this life? And just like, dealing with that and trying to understand, like, even if you haven't watched every single anime there is out there, you're still an anime fan if you like anime. And I think, yeah, just like finding that community has helped so much. Being around people who don't, make you feel that way, people who encourage you or just want to talk about anime with you and like have fun like we are right now. And yeah, just telling yourself that you're valid, doesn't matter. If you like one anime, you're an anime fan. If you like 1,000, you're an anime fan, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I think that for sure is like one of my biggest obstacles.
That's awesome. And that's true. You can like one anime and watch it one time and still call yourself an anime fan. Imani, what would you say has been your biggest obstacle?
I kind of feel like as girls and just as Black women, we are always so hyped and ready to lift each other up no matter what. Like we'd be like, I love the way you look. I like your dress. I like your hair. I like your fit. I like your style. But in my experiences, because I mostly run the Twitter, so in my experiences, I kind of feel like some guys, not all, but there's a particular group of men who are ready to attack. Like I feel like they come into the conversation like thinking I don't know what I'm talking about. So it could be making a post, it could be making a thread. Like I feel like a lot of comments are positive, but then you get those couple of comments which happen to be guys, and they're just like you don't know what you're talking about, or they're trying to correct me. They're just they're ready to kind of knock me down. So I think sometimes that, especially on Twitter, it can be very frustrating and it can be very intimidating. You might feel dumb, you might feel stupid. Like I remember there's a point where I hit you up on the side, Destiny, like, yo, am I okay? Was I wrong for this? Help me fix this. So it can be a bit overwhelming. But when I'm stuck in situations like that, I try my best just to look at the positive comments and ignore the negative. Like I don't even like to give it attention, because especially on social media and especially on Twitter, people are just looking for clout, and sometimes people are bored and they don't know what to do. They just want to bring people down. So I don't get, like, I would like every single positive comment and I will ignore a negative comment and not address it.
That's honestly the greatest way to do it. Ignoring people and just kind of working through all the positives will change your life, I promise you. Kira, what would you say is an obstacle that you face, especially as a cosplayer?
Yeah, I think I feel like one of my main issues, or like maybe Black women as a whole, is finding that we need to be empowered by ourselves. I feel like as Black women, we get scrutinized a lot, even as far as like cosplay. It's like, if there's one thing off, I feel like people are the first to pick us out, like, oh, this is not accurate, based on whether it's your skin, your hair, your body shape, like the outfit. And also realizing that, as Black women, we are trendsetters. Like we don't fit this one mold, which sometimes I feel like people see anime fans as fitting this one mold. And like as Black women, we are multifaceted, we are multi-talented, and there's so many different variations of who we are as people that we need to, and me personally, I need to remember that empowers me. And I think being empowered is sometimes hard because we do face just so much scrutiny with just like being in the anime community, being in like the nerd community, and just kind of people maybe kind of narrowing their mind to see us in one way, when realizing like we are so many different ways, and finding that power within ourselves and not even having to use the validation or use the outside sources to realize that, we are a part of this, and we also are like the pioneers of doing certain things and showing other people and like changing it in different and cool ways. So yeah, I feel like that would be like the one biggest thing, because like getting into it sometimes can be a little bit tricky, or it feels kind of like you're stepping on eggshells because you don't want to be attacked, but realizing like they gonna like you regardless, man. We are the ones. I'm sorry.
We are here to stay. Get used to it.
We're here to stay.
That is very, very true. I remember I was actually talking to a friend of mine, and I mentioned how I was nervous about cosplaying and posting my cosplay. I was like really scared about it. I was like, I don't want to be like attacked or sent any rude messages, especially if it blows up. Like that's just something that
you have to even think about that too.
Exactly. So that's really great advice. Jackie, you are writing actually a manga, or you already wrote a manga, and it's amazing. So I'd love to hear your way of combating obstacles, especially being the fact that you're in so many different things.
Yeah, I definitely share the same sentiment as everyone else. I feel like I do suffer the wrath of like anti-Twitter sometimes because, you know, as a woman, a Black woman, and then it's like when you're quiet, even people are like, "Ah, you ain't no fan," or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of, like Victoria says, a lot of self-doubt where I'm like, wait, am I a fan? But then I remember I have a business and I have a manga. Like, if anyone's a fan, it's me. So, you know what I mean? And you just gotta remind yourself of that. And yeah, ignore the haters.
That is,
Block button, mute button.
Yes.
Siobhan, do you ever come with any problems? I mean, I know you are very well known in this anime industry space. I knew Siobhan for a very long time before I even knew much about Crunchyroll. So have you had to deal with any type of just maybe even gatekeeping or just any obstacles just being, you know, someone as important as you are in the industry?
Ah, shucks, Destiny, you're gassing me up. I mean, but yeah, no, I definitely, you know, everything you guys said, I felt different variations of it. You know, like, you know, I said, I grew up on anime. So I watched anime and I kind of aspired to be like many of those characters, but also was faced with the challenge of not seeing myself reflected. You know, obviously, because the origin of anime is Japan, you know, there wasn't necessarily a lot of characters that were perceptible as coming from a background where they might be from the African diaspora. So, you know, that was an interesting kind of feeling to have where I looked up to people, but I didn't really see myself in it. But then I think I started to then get into cosplay and I kind of just naturally just threw myself into it. But I did feel limited at times. I felt like I could only, you know, cosplay characters with darker skin tones or, you know, think about, like you said, like the critique that I would get if I, you know, presented as a character that might have fairer skin or a different hair color or something. So I had to work through that. I'm totally fine now, that's for sure. But as a young person, it was a confusing experience for sure. You know, the cool thing now is that there's so much anime and honestly anime created by African people or people of African descent across the world, which is so cool. And, you know, it's awesome to think of, you know, the young version of me and being able to watch, you know, shows that have characters that look like me and, you know, read manga like, you know, Jackie's, where I literally can see myself reflected. Like, I'm half West African, so obviously Jackie's manga is so cool. I just can't wait to like have kids one day and like make them read it. I don't know. So, but then aside from that, I think on the more like recent issues, you know, what you guys describe, you know, I'm on the social media front, so I see a lot of these conversations happening and it affects me, even though it doesn't, the vitriol isn't directed at me. It just hurts seeing other women experience that, particularly Black women, because I think that, yeah, it's already a high barrier of entry because people disregard maybe our fandom for, you know, stupid reasons, really. But it's hard to see that continuing to happen even to this day. Now, I think things have certainly gotten better, and everyone in this call is actually helping, I think, to shape things in a more positive direction. But I think the advice given here is great. You know, you do have to kind of focus on the positive when you can. Give yourself opportunities to kind of check out from the internet, especially when things get really ugly. But also having a community like this, you know, and being able to talk to people about how you feel. You know, sometimes you just have to let it out. And yeah, I think that would be my advice.
That's amazing advice. I feel like even now too, we're finding a lot more anime characters that may not even have to say necessarily that they're Black, but they just look like it. And that gives Black anime fans, I feel like, just a sense of pride to be like, oh my God, like there's a character in this really popular anime that looks like me. And I can now stand her and cosplay her or cosplay him and not feel weird about it because he's, you know, he looks just like me. So that is such a great feeling. I do want to know, it kind of goes along with the advice you guys gave earlier, but I do want to know how you guys combat gatekeeping specifically. For me, I have gotten emails, comments, anything you can think of people being like, you don't know what you're talking about. I actually just tweeted a situation where I went to the store in my My Hero shirt and somebody questioned me and snickered at me and was like, "That's the only anime that you've seen," and I was just like, "Oh wow, like you really don't know who you just spoke to. Like now I have to explain to you all the anime I've seen." So I would love to hear your guys' quick advice on someone who just has to deal with gatekeeping or who feels like they have to stand up against or defend their love for anime. Imani, would you like to go first?
Yeah, well, as I said earlier, I like to just not give them that energy. I like to ignore them. Also, as I said earlier, I'm part of a podcast and I have some, just not even my podcast mates, but just people like you guys. I have amazing friends around me who will help me, who will have my back, who will defend me, or who will educate me if I'm wrong. So if anyone tries to step at me, my boys will already come in and defend me. But also, I kind of similar to what Victoria said, I haven't seen every anime. I haven't read every manga. So when people do like try and correct me, sometimes I also try and put like my best face forward and my best foot forward and be like, "Oh, thank you." And I also try to learn and be like, "Oh, I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know." And I look it up and I gain new knowledge. Something I also did want to say in terms of gatekeeping for people watching this is like, it like there is a small minority that can just be so loud. And I think in addition to conversations like this, if a lot more men allies also like spoke up and was just like, Black women who love anime are beautiful, I think that could really also help change the discord. Because I also see stuff like that on Twitter where you just see a person tweeting a quote saying, Black women who love anime are the best, are awesome. And that helps make a big difference. So people who are watching this who's like, how can I help? Like, you can help us by just supporting, you know?
Yes, that's something that's really, really big. It's just support. That's something that our anime community definitely needs. We need to support each other more. I see that all the time. I see that just when fans are talking about their favorite shows. If you disagree about that show, it is okay. But remember that fan likes that show for a reason. You know what I mean? So we should definitely stick to supporting each other. And I think that's really great advice. Kara, what would you say as far as combating gatekeeping specifically?
Yeah, first of all, I completely agree with Amani with like the support. One thing that I do think that actually helps gatekeeping or like diminishes it is the fact that we are building our own worlds. Like Adorned by Chi, you have this whole world that you created that there isn't a gate anymore. Getting animated, there's a podcast made by you where communities can come that look like us and other people can. Land Party, like all these different sectors that we're putting ourselves in, it's at this point creating our own communities that have no gates. So if there are places that do have gates, we are welcoming the people that are turned away and creating a much bigger and welcoming community. And I think that is just like a beautiful thing, to take whoever pushed you away and create something with love that other people can also be genuinely interested in, as well as that's, telling them, some people, we do need that support. But I think just creating and building our own community within that world and not having like these boundaries that you need to surpass to get there. If, like y'all said, if you watch one anime, you're an anime fan. So I think that's one of the ways.
No, that's absolutely true. Jackie, what would you say?
I would say that that's very hard to follow because she said everything. It's so true. Like, if somebody's gatekeeping you, creating your own space, your own welcoming space is truly like the best thing to do. Like, I would say that our communities are so loving, open, welcoming, kind, that I am starting to feel the gatekeepiness less and less. Maybe it's like a combination of focusing less on it, like Amani has been saying, and then also like cultivating spaces like this. So yeah, that's my advice.
That's actually really true. Now that I think about it, it's still there sometimes, but it is good when I'm like, I don't even remember that there was gatekeeping around. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go for such a long time without even realizing that it's happening, because you have so many awesome people like you all who, like, I'm always like, let me like Jackie's picture. Let me, hi, Kira, like you look great today. Victoria, I love your podcast. Like just showing all that love and spewing it out and just being like, oh my God, like, have you heard Land Party? It's just like spewing all this stuff out, you know what I mean? And all the love and getting it back. It's hard to see all the hate sometimes. So that's really good that you brought that up. Victoria, did you have any, I know we've already went through so many great advice, but do you have anything else that you wanted to say about gatekeeping?
Yeah, I mean, I just agree with everyone here, you know, creating our own communities, you know, podcasts and cons, and, you know, we've done it all. Like there's a Black-owned anime studio in Japan right now, you know, there's Noir Caesar who's like releasing like manga also, just like a lot of people doing amazing things. One other thing though, I try to ignore it most of the time, but I also can be really sarcastic. So I'm like, they're like, oh, you're like not, like you don't have this character right. I'm like, oh, do you not know what cosplay is? Like cosplay is actually, like it's actually this. This is the definition if you didn't know. And also I always say like, no one in this world will ever watch all of One Piece to impress anybody. So I don't know.
That's funny that you said that because I'm still, people still try to convince me to start One Piece, and I'm trying. It's just,
it's good.
So many. It's so
I
many.
honestly committed to it for when I would start, so.
I saw that.
What you guys do during quarantine?
Listen, I have so many anime to watch. I can't even tell you. Okay, so thank you guys so much for the amazing advice. I think a lot of our fans are definitely going to be using that for their future endeavors. With Victoria, I saw that you recently recorded Sway Lee, and we've had a lot of amazing Black celebrities showing their love for anime. So I want to know how you all feel about Black celebrities, Black women specifically, claiming their love for anime. We have people like Swadey, who loves Sailor Moon. We have Rico Nasty, who had like anime-inspired art and stuff like that for her album. Meg Thee Stallion, obviously, she partnered up with Crunchyroll, and of course, she talks about Naruto in her songs. She loves Inuyasha. And of course, we can't forget about Lizzo, who twerked in a Sailor Moon outfit. So I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. I'll start with you, Victoria, because you actually got to speak to her.
Oh my God, yeah, it was one of the best experiences ever. Yeah, it's just been amazing just to see, you know, not only like us like creating our communities, but to see it like on this like really like public level, to see people, you know, women, Black women who love anime, and kind of showing people on like a bigger scale that Black women do love anime, that like helps us probably with like the gatekeeping and, you know, all the negativity. And yeah, just like on the episode with Sweetie, you know, she specifically mentioned, she was like, before coming on the internet and like later on, like seeing the podcast, and like I told her about Black girls anime, like she didn't know other Black girls like anime. And just like, like that's just like mind-boggling to me. And just, you know, seeing like her seeing Meg and Meg seeing her, and them seeing each other, like, oh, like there is another Black girl out here who likes anime, who can like twerk and rap and like do everything, and like Kiara said, like multifaceted. So I love it. It's been so amazing. Like, you know, we're trendsetters, as Kiara said also, so it's just been awesome.
It's definitely exciting. Kira, I want to know your thoughts about it as well, because I think SZA follows you or something like that. I know that you have gotten the eye of a couple of Black celebrities, so I'd love to know your thoughts on it as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's like crazy, but in like the most cool way possible, to see it transcend again, like to this public setting. And I think the coolest part about that is just like you said before, you know, Sweetie didn't know that other Black girls liked anime. So it's cool to, now that these people are on this mass level, that now other people are being inspired to like out their love for anime. I know sometimes it's scary, and sometimes like there is a lot of gatekeeping when you are first kind of entering and you don't know where you fit in that community. So seeing someone you love like twerking on stage to anime, or just like watching a show or like doing an interview, you're like, oh crap, yeah, okay, like let me tell you how much I love Hunter x Hunter. I feel more confident because you see someone like you, and also you realize it's not an embarrassing thing. It's an amazing thing. Your interests are what make you who you are. They're part of your identity. So having that level of acceptance that you're finally able to get, even if it come from you just seeing like one thing on TV or like an interview on YouTube, but it finally clicks, that's just like, it's like a spark that I feel like ignites more sparks to other people. It's like fireworks that you keep lighting other people and letting them shine.
It definitely is exciting for sure. Imani, I want to know, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, even though I grew up in an anime club in high school, there wasn't a lot of Black people in it, and there definitely wasn't a lot of Black women in it. So I think it's amazing that these Black pop artists and Black celebrities are getting onto it, because it normalizes the idea of Black women having a space, you know, in this, having a place in this space. And also it makes it more mainstream, because even though it's becoming pop culture, it's not, you know, that popular yet. So now, like, I can go to a friend, like, watch Hunter x Hunter, or watch My Hero. I'll be like, watch My Hero. That's a new anime Meg Thee Stallion's watching. So now I can put more people on, and more people are interested, because it's like, oh wait, because it's like, oh wait, Meg Thee Stallion's talking about what? Lizzo's doing what to who? And it's like, yeah, it's dope. So more people could be part of our community. And I personally love when something goes mainstream, because I feel like it makes more opportunities for that particular subject. So now that anime and manga has become more mainstream, hopefully even more money could be pumped into it, and you could see it on more channels and things of that nature. So I think it's great.
Yes, exactly. Jackie?
I like what Kiara said. Here I go. I'm just piggybacking off of everything.
No, I love all y'all. Y'all are like, I'm just like fascinated by the level of intellect and knowledge here.
But yeah, well, I like what you said about it kind of like sparking things in other people. Because I know for me, like when I was younger, seeing Janelle Monáe in particular really sparked something in me. And I know that she's not like into anime, but it was the sci-fi aspect, or like seeing like kind of like a kind of weird, awkward Black girl, or like Issa Rae, those people. I wouldn't be doing things that I'm doing if it wasn't for seeing them. So it excites me knowing that there's like a young girl out there who's seeing Megan Thee Stallion or Lizzo, you know, or Rico Nasty, and it's like, oh wait, I can do this. Like, she's doing that, I can do this. So that's how I feel about that. It's very exciting.
It really is. I think I'll never forget the time where I was on Twitter and some boy was like, oh, Meg Thee Stallion don't like anime, she's too fine or whatever. And literally Megan's response was like, all my hotties, drop a picture underneath this and show them that you love anime. And all, like, she got over like 4,000 comments of just people dropping their picture, being like, hey, it's me, I like anime, hey, I'm Black girl, I like anime. And it was just so exciting to see that, one, she was not going to tolerate any gatekeeping, and two, she just brought attention to the fact that, hey, like, there's a lot of us out here, we love, and like, you can't judge just because we're fine that we don't like anime. Like, that's such a silly thing. And watching her just make sure that she put her fans on that like high tier of just respect and being like, girl, I'm gonna rap about Sasuke and watch Inuyasha, and I'm not gonna be afraid of telling people that. Just, it touched me so much. I was just immediately at that moment, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a fan. I don't care what she does, I will support. Siobhan, I would love to hear, speaking of Meg Thee Stallion and her success and everything, you may have recently seen on Crunchyroll's Instagram Live, our lovely Tim was talking to her about Crunchyroll and about anime that she liked and her collection with the Crunchyroll store. Siobhan, could you tell us more about how all that got started?
Yeah, of course. I think, you know, hearing everyone's story, I feel the same. It's like right now I just feel like I'm living in the best timeline. Jeez Louise, I could have never imagined that we'd have these literally, she has the #1 album, and she is a anime fan that is not afraid to show it. And that's why I love her. I adore her so much. But funnily enough, me and I would call her my work bestie, Victoria, many times, like, we're on the hunt, for celebrities, especially women that, flaunt their love of anime. And, we've actually liked Meg for quite a long time, just in terms of her music. But then when we started to see like the hints that she likes anime just like ramping up and up and up, we're like, oh my gosh, she's one of us. Like, this is amazing. I can't believe this. And then it just was like other celebrities just like coming up, and, Lizzo and all those other great folks. But it wasn't just me that was a fan of Megan in the office, in the Crunchyroll office. Our PR team kind of got wind of her fandom, and, was seeing her paper magazine cover where she did her Todoroki Tina. And like, oh God, that was such a cool moment. I don't know how you guys felt, but I just was like, is this really happening right now? Like, my hero on paper magazine, like literally the most beautiful woman, and she's a Black woman and she loves anime. I just felt so like gratified, like in my personal fandom, just to see someone at that upper echelon of celebrity just being open about their anime love. So anyway, we saw this wonderful cover, and we knew that we had to make something special for her. Like, when someone makes you feel that special, you just automatically want to create something great for them. So our PR team, worked with an artist to recreate that cover. They were very, very careful about the process and making sure that it really represented, Megan, and like what we would envision her as an anime character. That was like a really fun, I think, exercise to envision like how, depending on the art style, she might look differently. We sent it over to her, on social media, just in a direct message, just saying, we love you and you're awesome. Please enjoy this. We hope you like it. And she liked it. So she ended up posting it on Twitter and Instagram, and she just said like, thank you, Crunchyroll. And like, we didn't know if she would do anything with it. We were just like wanted to do something nice, and it was cool to see her just post it and other people get really excited by it. And I noticed, a lot of people are like, what is this? Like, what, anime? What? She likes anime? And then after that, we ended up having more of like a relationship with her, and we were able to launch our CR Loves Megan Thee Stallion collection a couple weeks ago on the Crunchyroll store. I like bought every piece, so I can't wait to like be fully decked out in all my Megan regalia. But she's just such a good example of, like you said, just being that advocate to defend against gatekeeping and not hesitating, and never does she falter when someone tries to kind of check her or her audience. And, that's what I try to think about when I'm at work at Crunchyroll, is just, how can I advocate for the community? And there's so many sub-communities within the wider anime community. Let's not forget about all the different varieties, including Black women. And so, she's an inspiration to me in terms of like standing up for anime fans. And I just can't wait to see what other like anime inspired music or music videos she might put out one day. I'm like, fingers crossed to see like more of that. That would be so magical.
It really would. I was just saying, like, when I saw her Todoroki Tina cover, I was like, I feel seen. Like, going into the Publix or just going into like a grocery store and seeing Todoroki Tina like on the, I'm just like, all right, well, that's it for me. I'm good. Like, I felt seen in that moment. So I definitely agree with you. She really is such a pioneer, and there's so many other ones too. Like, even watching Lizzo twerk and play the flute and twerk in a Sailor Moon outfit just makes me very happy, and it just brings so much more attention to Black anime fans, especially Black women anime fans. So I do want to say thank you guys all so much for tuning into our Black Girl Magic Anime Edition panel, and I want to thank our lovely guests so much for joining us at Crunchyroll Expo. We'll be having a lot more programming at CRX this weekend. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. And you can view any panels you missed online. We'd love to hear your excitement and feedback throughout the weekend on social with #VCRX. Bye.
He show, he show, she show, side show.